Welcome back to Norrath. Well, today is a big day. It's World Download Day. But before that can happen, we have to go around and do a little work to get everything finished. And to that end, we're here in Freeport Harbor because we have some things to take a look at. I've been working on the roof designs over here, and I made a number of smaller roof elements, and I placed them rather haphazardly on these buildings because I want them to have a good sort of ramshackle medieval feeling to them. And by that I mean they have regular elements like this roof and this roof are the same, but they have random things stuck in them, like we have a chimney over here. And there are random little chimneys stuck here and there in all the little nooks and crannies around here. And we have some side bits of roof that come off over here. Now, there's no real purpose to have this other than it sort of filled a space and made the roof look less like the one that was next to it. And these roofs are colliding with each other all over the place, which is pretty much what you want in a good medieval roof. These are basically like the farmhouse roofs we built earlier for all the ones in the common lands, except bigger. And if you want to build such a roof for yourself, they're very easy to do. All you have to do is build up a 2-block high staircase like this. And from that, you just extend the roof segments back. And after that, you want to go back over that and add in some half slabs along here and knock out some elements of them to make them give a sort of stair step down like this, and just add in some half slabs in between. And you can see where this is going. All you have to do is do that on the lower sections down here like this. Add in some half slabs and fill in the middle there. And you have the beginnings of a sort of a saggy medieval roof. Something else you can also do is make them overhang out a little and extend them like this. And that is the same basic thing I've done for this roof here. You can see how it sags down in the middle and overhangs the street below down here. Like so. But that's enough roof talk for the moment. Over here, we have received a shipment of lumber on the docks, and I have used probably the oldest, I don't know if it's the oldest, this is certainly one of the oldest tricks in the book for decorating docks and various industrial things, is to have tree trunks lying around. Just pretend that you actually cut them down and didn't actually punch them down block by block. And we have used some rails to tie it together. All you have to do is put it over the wood like this. And there you go. And I've tried to switch it up somewhat so we can have the large spruce beams here because they are used to build the timber frame structures we have here. And in between that, we can have the smaller logs get processed down for furniture and chests and fences and various little things. And just to make it interesting, I put all the 6 wood types we have in Minecraft. I kind of wish we had more than 6 wood types. Maybe like some cedar wood would be nice if we had that. And I also wouldn't hate if we had some nice dark rich mahogany wood to use for furniture and everything too, but alas, we do not. Now, I did want to have our ship ready for this download, but it's not going to be. It's pretty much in this state at the moment, so that's how you're going to see it. So that will be half finished. It's still floating above the water too. As soon as it gets finished, I will actually lower it into the water. And I have added some more structures over here to the military docks to flesh this area out a bit more. I think most of the work in finishing Freeport at this point is going to be in adding all of these wooden houses in to the various plots of land down here. And while we do have names for several of them from the Freeport map in EverQuest, most of them are not going to have an identity, really. I guess that's going to be for you to determine whenever you download the map and take a look at it. Another thing that's not going to be ready are the roofs of all the areas around here. I've only just begun to work on them. I haven't done these because I think I want to change this and make it overhang out just a little bit more than it does. I don't know. I'm not sure about that actually. Because I think it might be interesting if we had some roofs that did overhang, like over there at the docks, and some of these that didn't. But that's not going to be ready today because we need to head out of the city towards the Druid Ring over here because we have someplace to go. In fact, because it's winter time, we actually need to head down to Vilius. Now, in EverQuest, there are a number of ways to get down to Vilius, two primary ways, I think, are the portal network, and there's also a ship that goes down to the ice-clad ocean. However, the ships are not in service on this map, so we are going to have to take the portal network, and the only portal that connects down there is through the large wizard spires. And the closest set of those is over the Serpent Spine Mountains that way. So we can either take a druid ring to go to North Karana over there and then go down to the ring here, or we could go over to the wizard portal over here. So I think we'll go this way, and maybe when we come back we can take the druid ring to show you both ways you can get over there from Freeport. So we come over here to the small wizard spires, and we want to go to, it's always the last one I look at, West Karana. All right, we are here in West Karana. So we want to find the river. We should be right by it. Go over our bridge that we put in a few episodes ago. And we want to follow the river this way. And it actually shouldn't be very long before we see the large wizard spires come into view. There they are. So, we're now here at the large wizard spires, and we want to go to Vilius. Where's Vilius? Here it is. It's the last one I looked at. Again. All right, we better put on our warm winter coat because we are now on the frozen continent of Vilius. Even the sky is a little grayer down here. I wonder if that's a biome color thing. However, what we are down here to take a look at today, as we will follow the road, we are now in the Great Divide, because we are here today to see the Dragon Ring network. It's the last portal network that needs to be added on Norrath. And this is the primary way that you should be getting around Vilius. I've thought about expanding this portal network into a series of 2 or 3 dragon rings, but for the moment we're just going to go with the originals that are in the game. And I've modified the design a little bit from when you first saw it. There were 4 dragons on each of these with different statues on them, but I decided since we had 4 portals, I would make 1 dragon statue on each of them, except it's going to be a different statue depending on which portal you visit. And for the glass color down here, I decided to go with a little red, because we have blue for the other portal, so I wanted to go with a little red for this. And the various places this will take you is to Cobalt Scar, the Awakening Lands, and to the Ice-clad Ocean. We're currently in the Great Divide, so I think we will actually go from east to west and go to the Ice-clad Ocean. And with the teleport complete, we can see that the dragon statue up here has changed. It is now a different statue, reflecting that we have traveled to a different area. And let's take a look at the area down here, because this, I don't think we definitely haven't visited this area with shaders on, so let's spend a minute down here. This is the Ice-clad Ocean, which, not surprisingly, all the water down here is frozen. Well, most of it's frozen. We have some cracked up sections down here. And fun fact, this road here is actually going to lead to something we're going to be building over here, which is going to be the Tower of Frozen Shadow. It's going to be interesting whenever we get around to that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to build it out of obsidian. Probably put it over there somewhere. And I want to give it a good sort of Lord of the Rings vibe to it, I think. But here we have the sea ice floating around and cracked up down here. And we also have a lot of frozen trees and diorite mountains around here. Because it blended better with the snow is why I chose all the diorite sections to have on the mountains here. I think it came out looking really good. It blends with the snow quite well. And there are just some random sections of regular stone and cobblestone to give it a bit more texture. And over here, of course, we have a small ice plain. There are ice plains that cover the eastern and western wastes. And we have a road going through that links up to the Dragon Ring. And from here, I think the next stop, we would like to go somewhere just a little bit warmer, which is going to be the Awakening Lands. And here we are on the edge of the Awakening Lands, actually. We have a different dragon statue up there again. And we have these interesting looking trees here with diamond ore for bark and stained glass for leaves. And they have these interesting looking little light sickles that are made of just glass and end rods. However, this is on the edge of the Awakening Lands itself. I was going to put it down at the bottom of the Awakening Lands, but I thought putting it on just the edge of it over here would be a better compromise, because this is still down inside of the large scar. And this scar on Vilius is so deep that it goes all the way down to bedrock, which is one of the reasons some of the trees down here are floating a little bit. I couldn't put them all the way in. I'm going to have to fix that one of these days. But down here in Vilius, this is pretty much the only area that is actually green. And the reason being that the scar is so deep that it accesses steam pockets underneath the ground, sort of like geothermal energy that come out and warm the ground, and steam rises up from various cracks deep in the earth down here and makes this entire area warm, sort of like a microclimate. And I decided to go with a mix of fall trees from Kunark and various green trees from Otis down here. And they give it a nice and colorful feeling. Because down here somewhere will be a probably command block that links to the plane of growth, wherever we decide to put that at. So the Awakening Lands gives us a bit of color in an otherwise icy continent. And we have one more stop to make, which is going to be down at Cobalt Scar. It's the last one I checked again. And we see the last dragon statue here, because we have arrived down here at Cobalt Scar. And the reason it is named Cobalt Scar is because this area here is the fourth scar of Vilius. But because it has an access to the ocean over here, it's flooded with water, and therefore it is blue, and therefore it is called Cobalt. And we can also see down here some of the cold water sponges just below the surface here. And there should also be some prismarine mushrooms down there also. And if you look south from the Dragon Ring down here, you can pretty much see what is essentially going to be the edge of the world down here. Because this is all frozen ocean right until you basically fall off the map. However, one of the things I'm thinking about doing for the poles is making a sort of wall of ice that stretches all the way from east to west around the map, sort of bounding you in. I don't know how tall I want to make it, but I want that to serve as sort of a barrier that would give you the impression that there is a polar ice cap down there. But that is a project for the far future. Today, it is time we return home So we want to use the dragon rings to travel back to the Great Divide. And from here, we want to travel back to the large wizard spires over here. And travel back to Antonica. Right here. And from here, we want to establish where north is. Let's see, there's the river to the south of us. So we want to go roughly in this direction over here. And we should end up somewhere in the northern edge of North Karana, because that is where the druid rings for Karana are located. Of course, the plains of Karana are rather large, so it's going to take you probably a whole minute just to fly across them. And it looks like I aimed correctly because the druid ring is now coming into view. And we will use this to travel back to the western Commonlands. Or on second thought, actually, I want to go to South Row and travel north back to the city from there, because there are a few things down there I want to show you. Because in the southern desert of Row, we are just on the edge of the jungle down here. And from here, we want to travel north and get into the desert and find the river and follow that to the oasis, because there is something interesting that I think you're going to want to see. And as we travel along the road, it is just coming into view, because, I mean, what good is having a large sandy desert if we cannot put a giant pyramid right in the middle of it, am I right? And this pyramid is not going to be for nothing. This is actually one of the smaller pyramids that I've built, because this rather ominous looking bedrock and obsidian pyramid is actually going to be the entrance for a dungeon. However, I don't know what the dungeon is going to be. There are a number of dungeons around here we could put. This could be the entrance to the lost elven city of Takashiz. This currently leads nowhere at the moment, by the way, when you come in here. Or it could also be an entirely different dungeon. I'm really not sure. If any of you veteran EverQuest players have a dungeon in mind you think would go good with this, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. And speaking of pyramids, it's not going to be in this download, but in the future, even further south, there are going to be a number of pyramids down there that the lizard men have built that serve as the temple complex of Khazak-Thul, which should be pretty fun to build down there in the jungle. And I think as we begin to head back north to Freeport, there's one more thing I want to show you around here, because I remarked that we needed some wooden bridges when I was building these stone ones, and I have done so and placed them around the map. I have also gone around and placed all the other stone bridges pretty much everywhere except for Kunark and Vilius, because, well, Vilius doesn't really have many rivers that aren't just frozen. And I want the Kunark bridges to be different from these, and I haven't built that yet. But when you travel around on the main 3 continents, you will find bridges at various points along the way to help you navigate the terrain. And these are just simple timber frame bridges. They look a lot like the houses we've been building. They've got the 3 wide beams and the stone buttons and everything. And the wood piles that they're constructed on are sunk down into the terrain. And they've got little cobblestone piers on various ends. It's a very, very simple bridge design to build if you want to do this in your own worlds. Because you will notice you can expand them to pretty much any length. You can have 2 segments this long and just end it here, or you can have the 5 segments that we have here, or 4 or 6, or however many you want. And it's very modular, so you can put this design across pretty much any sized river you want. Although I think if you're going to put this across a large river, you'd probably want to use the stone bridges that we have in the plains of Karana. But with that said, let's travel up the river north, because we want to head back up to the Commonlands and across to Freeport. Home sweet home. So, with the Dragon Ring network complete, that marks the completion of pretty much all of the original designed portals that were in EverQuest, at least up to the Luckland expansion. And since that is pretty much where I'm putting the cutoff point for what I'm building in the world, that should do it. And it should help you navigate your way around the world. All you have to do is find one of the very prominent looking portals, and then it will give you various options about wherever you want to go. So as I promised, today is the world download, which means that you can download pretty much everything you've seen here today, I think except for the wood on the docks. That's new. And you will be able to explore Norrath and Freeport and everything I've been building in this series for yourself. So when you spawn in, you will appear somewhere around here, which is why over here outside the cathedral there are a few signs. This is version 1.1. I'm putting it out on Christmas, hopefully. And to your right, you will find a shulker box with a few goodies for you. And on your left over here, there will be some signs telling you various locations you can visit and sites you can go see. I don't think the pyramid is on this list, but it probably should be. And I think the last thing to show you today is I have done a little festive decorating on the inside of the cathedral here. We have some bows up here and some lights and boughs of garland and everything hanging from the sides of the arcades here. It's not a whole lot, but it's better than nothing. I think next Christmas we really have to go all out for Freeport or whichever city we're building. We'll probably come back to Freeport for that because I want to build a tree and really kind of go wild decorating the city for that Christmas. Because by then, we should have quite a lot more of the buildings completed and ready for that. I didn't want to do it in the courtyard just yet because all of this is still being built and it was going to kind of get in the way. But that's going to be all the time we have for today. Remember that the updated world download is going to be in the video description. I will also be including both versions, just the blank terrain of the world as well as everything with the buildings on it behind me here. And I think we've only been building for about 2 months or so, but we've made quite a lot of progress in that time. And in the months ahead, now that we've established the core of the world here around Freeport and the Common Lands, we'll be branching out here and there and building out various parts of the world. So I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you next year.